Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now I just want to say that we are now at 9,940 subscribers, only 60 to go, baby. And currently I'm sitting at 8 mil, so it's like 60 subscribers versus 2 mil. We'll see. But I want to say thank you so much for all of the support. We are super close. Remember, if we are able to hit 10k before I hit 10 mil, I will spend everything in my bank account and we will have a giveaway as well to celebrate 10,000 subscribers. So it's gonna be a good time. But anyway guys, today welcome to another episode of What Can You Get From That Pack, where I judge the cards that you can get from the carbon fiber that you need to open to get you a chance in the qualifiers for a very beautiful prize car. And I'm talking about the Peugeot T something. I just know it's very good. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a car person, but when it comes to French cars, I just don't know it off the top of my head, to be honest. I think it's T16. Peugeot, yeah, there you go. Peugeot T16 qualifiers. Also, you know, the what you gonna call it? The prize car, epic prize car, is the Mercedes-Benz C112, and that is a really good car to win. It's got a high top speed for RQ67 and 99 handling. Really good stuff. But anyway, guys, you guys know how I rank things over here for this series. You got Der Kaiser, Daily Driver, Frequent Provider, Pernicious Ulcer, and this is a different one. We have Meta Outsider. Gone are the days of hot garbage. It's kind of sad because it's kind of like a meme on my channel, right? Like I like to say hot garbage is like a New York slang that I picked up. I love it, you know, East Coast slang, I guess. And yeah, I still use the term hot garbage. The problem is the meta in Top Drives is changing, and to be completely honest with you, no car in Top Drives, unless you're the Atlas or Project 8, would be completely useless. And I'm even memeing when I say Atlas and Project 8. There will be times where those two cars actually shine. So, you know, the way things are going with legendary challenges and all these weird niche requirements, every car is going to have its day. So no car is truly hot garbage, but yes, you can say it's a meta outsider because you will never really use it unless Hutch forces you to use it. But like I said, every car will have its day. Anyway, guys, I'm going to review every card that you can get from this pack, and I'll give you my verdict if I should open it, if you should open it, if this pack is worth it or not. So let us begin with the Audi A4. Now, the Audi A4, I mean, straight off the bat, it's a daily driver, right? For RQ53, you're getting the standard tire, four-wheel drive, medium ground clearance car that handles pretty well. I mean, to put it into comparison, the Audi A6 all-road Quattro has the same handling for 7 RQ more. Now, I get that the 0 to 60 numbers are basically inverted and it has a higher top speed, but it really doesn't matter because, you know, when it comes to these twistier rain situations, it's very similar to off-road. Handling is everything, right? So we're getting two cars that have the same handling count, but one is so much more cheaper to use, and that's why I'm gonna put the A4 in daily driver. Although it isn't the best option to use out there, there is no denying that this is a car that you can really save RQ on and only lose by 50. The Audi A6 all-road isn't a bad car. It's very average when you compare it to other four-wheel drive standard tire cars in the game. I mean, gone are the days of the 86 handling, you know, ultra rare four-wheel drive standard. I know that there is still the Lavorgate 87, but gone are the days of the Legacy BW, of the Cadillac CTS, or even the Chrysler Citadel, right? The standard for what makes an ultra standard tire, it's a lot lower than what it used to be. So 6.773, it's average. I would say it's very RQ60, nothing too special, nothing too horrendous. Now we talk about the all-surface tire cars. Now these ones are pretty interesting because I don't know too much about them yet, I will be completely honest. So we'll start with the Audi Q2. It looks like a relatively strong car, to be fair, you know, 75 handling. I'm gonna show you the weight right now because I have the stats on the side. So it's relatively light, to be fair, 1,660 kilograms. It has no MRI, but it really doesn't matter. It's one of the cars that handle a little better. I know the 0 to 60 is a bit lower, but it doesn't matter. When it comes to off-road situations, handling is key. And because it's lightweight, it'll be pretty useful in the snow conditions as well, as long as you can't use off-road tires. I can't say the same for the other two Audis though. First one, we have the Audi Q3, which is a pernicious ulcer at best. I mean, we're talking about a car that has a lower 0 to 60, yes, but it is heavier than the Q2, and it handles a little less as well. And it's going to be the the same thing for the Q5. Now, I understand that there are going to be situations where the Q5 beats the Q2. I mean, that is a given. But then again, you look at the RQ difference, 58 and 62, and there is still a 3 RQ handling difference here. Did I say handling difference in RQ? But you know what I mean. Like, there's a 3 RQ handling difference where the car, which is way cheaper, is better in that strength, which is the biggest strength for off-road tire cars, or, you know, all-surface off-road situation type cars, okay? And now I want to talk about the rest of the four-wheel drive standards. To be completely honest, like, these two Audis are meta outsiders, I would say. I know that they're four-wheel drive, I know that they're standard, I know that that's medium, and, you know, honestly, like, there's going to be some use if you check all those boxes, right? Medium ground clearance, four-wheel drive standard, but 69 handling, I can't, man. It's just too bad. And honestly, like, they're heavy cars too. These Audis are not as light as you think. You know, for a saloon car, I would expect it to be maybe 1.5, maybe like close to 1.6, a low 1.6. No, these two Audis weigh over 1,700 kilograms, and their MRAs respectively. The RQ59 is 64.09, and the RQ54 is 55.87. This isn't good showing at all. Not a good showing. These two cars are definitely meta outsiders. Now that we don't have hot garbage anymore, it feels like it feels a little less harsh to like annihilate these cars. So they're going to be a lot more cars I'm going to put in meta outsider now, because these cars are literally just meta outsiders. The next one is the Ford Ranger Raptor. What a disappointment this car turned out to be. You're getting 81 handling, four-wheel drive, off-road tires, and you think, oh, it's going to be fantastic. Well, guess what? It still gets destroyed by the Bronco. And I think the main reason why the Ranger gets destroyed by the Bronco, although it handles better, is because the weight difference is literally night and day. We're talking about 1,100 kilograms. The Bronco is around 1,400 kilograms. This Ranger Raptor is 2,110 kilograms, 2.5 tons. And I really think it's really genuinely the weight that actually is just bringing it down to the ground. I still don't think it's a bad car. It's just a little disappointing. I thought it would be, you know, the next cheap Colorado, where it would be annihilating every single off-roader within its RQ range of about RQ 50 to 56. That doesn't seem to be the case. The Bronco seems to be the car to use. So the Ford Ranger Raptor, I'm gonna put it in frequent provider for now. And then we talk about our GE cars, the ones that we've been knowing for a very long time. The first one I'm gonna give to is the Jaguar X-Type, and that's gonna be Der Kaiser now. Now that the legacy BW is gone, now that the Citadel is gone, the Jaguar X-Type is one of the best handling four-wheel drive center tire cars with a low 0 to 60 that you can get. It's one of the best hybrid center tire cars, I would say, which has a little emphasis towards handling. So because of that, definitely Der Kaiser. The Jaguar XJ 5.0 V8, I'll put in frequent provider. It definitely has its time to shine. It's medium ground clearance once again. It has a relatively okay 0 to 64 niche. It's a saloon, you know, it's standard tires. It's not bad, but there are very small situations where you'll be using this car a lot, so I'll give it frequent provider. I would say it's average. Then we talk about the Range Rovers. I mean, the Range Rovers have really bad reputations, let's be honest, so they're going to be meta outsiders, I would say. Maybe the one that handles a little better, the P250, I would put in Pernicious Ulcer, and the Range Rover Evoque, maybe I'll put it in Pernicious Ulcer as well. But really, a lot of these ones, like this one, is definitely meta outsider. This is meta outsider. This one, I would say Pernicious Ulcer. As you can see here, the gateway between meta outsider and Pernicious Ulcer is about 70 handling. Or 70 plus handling. If you're 70 and below, you're meta outsider. If you're above 70, you're Pernicious Ulcer. Either way, they're not good in any sense. And then I would say the Velar, I would put in frequent provider. It's still a very heavy car, but it just handles a little better, and the 0 to 60 is among the lowest of the competition over here. I understand that the Range Rover Sport is 6.4, which is low, but we need to remember that these Rovers are very, very heavy. To be fair, you know what? I'm going to put these two cars together just because, like, one handling and a 0.6 second difference, they're very similar, honestly. And then we have the Mercedes-Benz. Okay, this one, although once again it doesn't really handle that well, and it's also very, very heavy, and it has no MRA. What I'll say about this is at least it's cheap to use, right? At least it's very cheap to use, as cheap as it gets. RQ50 with 68. I mean, this is RQ57 with 69 for just one more. Not a good car, but I'll put it Pernicious Ulcer. It's decent for the, you know, hill climb, especially in World Expo events. But outside of World Expo, I would say that the Mercedes-Benz isn't the best thing in the world. And then with the Saturn, oh my god, the Saturn. and this is an interesting one. Another car that doesn't handle. It is relatively light though, surprisingly light, 1,647 kilograms, almost calories. And the 0 to 60 is also low, to be fair, which is pretty nice. But 41 MRA isn't saying too much. I can't see myself using the car this much outside of Interstellar, because it has the Interstellar tag right now. I'll put it in frequent provider, but once that Interstellar tag goes away, it's going down. All right, now we talk about the epics. Now this one's gonna be interesting, right? We have all these like standard tire Audis, which are really underwhelming to use. The only thing saving these Audis, I would say, is if they have good MRA. So let's answer this question. This one over here, the A4 Avant, does it have good MRA? The answer is 60. 60 MRA. Yeah, no, it's at best, I would say, frequent provider, just because RQ, I don't know, man, it's not even that good. I'd rather use the legacy BW. The thing is, handling is key. The legacy BW would still be Der Kaiser, even though it went up to epic. I would put it in frequent provider for now. The Audi, I might bring it down later though. The Audi A7 Sportback. Now this car is really depressing. RQ79, okay, RQ79. I'm just putting it here for now to give it a highlight. 64 MRA. It is no, it's okay. You just compare it straight up to the I-Pace. How are these two cars together? How are these two cars RQ79? They're both 76 handling, right? The I-Pace has better MRA, and the 0 to 60 difference is 0.7 seconds. How are these two cars the same MRA? You would think that the A7 has like good MRA to offset the bad stats. It doesn't. It's 64. So the Audi A7, because it's so high in RQ and it doesn't hit on its belt, I'm gonna give it pernicious ulcer. Very, very bad car. The I-Pace though, obviously Der Kaiser. That one we've known for a very long time. The next one is the Audi A8. The Audi A8 is interesting because it is a saloon. There are not a lot of saloon standard tire 4-wheel drive medium ground clearance World Expo cars. It has no MRA at 59.57. The 0 to 60 is very weak, but the MRA is, I mean, the RQ is very mid, you know, 75 handling, and it's 4 RQ cheaper than the Audi A4. I'm gonna give it daily driver, mainly because it is the best standard tire 4-wheel drive medium ground clearance saloon World Expo. So it's a very easy car to be the best in its niche, and only for that reason alone, I would put in daily driver, because it will have its day to shine and it will be super useful when it does. All right, moving on is the Audi E-Tron. Now this is a car, once again, that I'm very, very excited for. If you own the Audi E-Tron, please let me know down in the comments below how well it performs, because for an RQ65, it looks like a very cheap I-Pace to use. It's got a low 0 to 60, a very, very low 0 to 60, right? And you know, the handling isn't too bad for an RQ65, 5.474. You compare it to the X-Type over here, which is 6.674, and they're only 3 RQ apart. It looks like it's a great bargain, but it might be a disappointment like the Ford Ranger Raptor. So like I said, let me know if the Audi E-Tron ends up being a huge disappointment. It is very, very heavy, 2,560 kilograms, but at least it isn't going to be weighed down in off-road situations, because you're only going to be using it in the wet for the most part. Then with the Audi Sq7 Tdi. Now this car is pretty good, I would say. It is, you know, it's got a decent 0 to 60. It's got a decent handling as well. For sure, I would put it in daily driver, and that's the same place I'll put the Sq8. The Sq8 is a strong car. I mean, on paper, it's got a ridiculously low 0 to 60. It handles really well. It definitely is a Dodge Durango killer. The MRA isn't the best though, 62.32. Audis and Subarus are very similar in terms of just disappointing, isn't it? But I would say that these two cars are relatively the same, which is a huge surprise, I would say, because when you look at this, right, it looks like the Audi Sq8 is the way better car with the 0.4 difference in 0 to 60 and the 1 better handling. And I would say that the Audi Sq8 is the better car, but it isn't good enough by the margin where I would bring it up a level. You know what I mean? That spot is deserved for this Macan. This Macan is insane, actually insane. Like I said, handling is everything when it comes to off-road. 81 handling, that's a 90 RQ 4-wheel drive all-surface tire SUV, which is lighter than both of the Audis as well. The Audis, the two that I just talked about, the blue one is 2,440 kilograms, and the white one is 2,345 kilograms. The Porsche Macan is under 2K, under 1.9 actually, coming in at 1,845 kilograms. So there you go. Bentayga diesel, how far this car has fallen. It truly is in that range of hot garbage now, isn't it? Like, the handling It's not there anymore. The 0 to 60 is still low, but the MRA isn't there anymore. It's like 53 MRA or some crap like that now. It's a pernicious ulcer. It's really sad to see. It used to be a Blossom choice. I mean, how far that car has fallen. The next one I'm actually quite excited for. It's the Di Tommaso concept, because it kind of rivals the Subaru Legacy in terms of that really outstanding handling, right? 78, four-wheel drive, standard tires, medium ground clearance, no MRA, but that doesn't really matter. It is a very, very strong car. Ain't no Legacy BW2. The Legacy BW2 is a lower 0 to 60, but I would put it in daily driver because, you know, it is a very promising car. Next up is the Mercedes-AMG G63. 100% Ricardo, 100%. Like, this car, look, I get it, right? It's super heavy. It has no MRA. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, its standout factor is so far above the competition, it doesn't matter, you know? Even if it has no MRA, you can guarantee that that is the best SUV to use in the entire game for an all-surface tire, quarter mile, and maybe even a half mile. Like I said, it might have very similar properties to the Ultra G63, you know? MRA isn't there, but the 0 to 60 is just night and day towards its competition. For RQ70 as well, RQ70 3.90 to 60, very, very impressive stuff. 3.9, that is performance tire 0 to 60 right there, for a very heavy all-surface tire four-wheel drive car. Definitely the Kaiser. And then next up we have the Mercedes GLS 63. Now the Mercedes GLS 63 has decent MRA, one of the stronger MRA cars when it comes to World Expo, because it has 70.31. Once again, it's got a low 0 to 60, but the handling isn't the best thing in the world. But I would still put it up here just because, yes, the handling isn't as good as the two Audis, but the 0 to 60 is competitive and it is cheaper to use, and the MRA is far better as well. So because of that, I'll put it in the daily driver category. The weight is very heavy though. The Mercedes is 2,610 kilograms. These are some very heavy cars. Next up is the Mercedes E400 4MATIC Coupe, four-wheel drive standard tires. It's got a low 0 to 60 as well, so that's the real standout feature, that 5.2 seconds, and 75 handling. If anything, it's kind of like a slightly worse version of this Audi, and I will put them together. Makes sense. And then with the Porsche Cayenne, I freaking love this picture. I really, really love this picture. Once again, it's really interesting to see that these Porsches, as big as they are, they're actually like all under 2,000 kilograms, which make them a lot lighter than the Mercs and a lot lighter than the Audis as well. The Porsche, you know, it's got a low 0 to 60. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say that. It's got a bad 0 to 60, but the handling is pretty good. The handling is pretty good. But for RQ75, I just feel like it isn't really justified, even though the MRA is slightly better than the Audis. I would give it frequent provider, honestly. And then we have the RQ65 Cayenne. 74 handling is going to be a meta outsider, and it's the same thing for the Porsche Cayenne 4.5. I'm gonna give that pernicious also just because it handles a little better, but really the Porsche Cayenne 3.6 is a huge disappointment. 74 handling, first of all, 48 MRA, and one of the heavier Porsches as well, coming in at 2,000 kilograms when all these Cayennes and Macan'S are under 2,000. Very disappointing car. RQ65 meta outsider for sure. All right, next one I want to talk about is the Cayenne Coupe 9Y3, 70 MRA. Once again, handling isn't too bad. 0 to 60 is relatively weak. I would say a very average car. I will put it in for RQ73. All right, and then we have the Macan Diesel. It's got that diesel niche. It is the lighter Macan at 1,880 kilograms, and it handles really well for 74 RQ. Definitely one of the cheaper SUVs to use. That is more of a bargain, and I will put in daily driver. Then we have the Autobiography. This is going to be a meta outsider for sure. And then we talk about the legendaries. Oh boy, the Bentegas. Oh, the Bentegas. Okay, here's the thing, right? I would usually put them in hot garbage slash meta outsider, but now that they don't get destroyed by the Epic anymore, it's less embarrassing to own one of these. And because of that, I'm going to put this in pernicious ulcer, and this one is a very low frequent provider. Why the RQ81 is ranked higher is because for less RQ, it's got a higher top speed and a lower 0 to 60. Both of these cars equally have no MRA as well, and the Bentayga W12 has one powerful niche. One. It's very rare, but one. Testable. That's it. 187. I mean, 187 miles per hour. Fair play. You know what? That's a higher top speed than the Viper ACR. So fair play. Okay, that's the only thing. So testable, it's gonna be the better car. That's it. Next up is the Jaguar F-Pace Svr. Now this car has always been relatively strong. I would say maybe, give it daily driver. Sure, it's got good MRA. Handling is not bad, especially if you can max it out. It definitely gets value, and then a low 0 to 60 as well. One of the better SUVs for sure. I'll give it to Kaiser. Sure, I'm in a good mood. All right, RQ90, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, 67 MRA, one of the heavier ones at 2,200 kilograms. Got a low 0 to 60, but it handles really well. I would give it to Kaiser. I think all the Porsches are honestly deserving of Der Kaiser, except the Cayenne, I would say. This Cayenne, I would say, is just alright. Daily driver, but the other ones are going to be Der Kaiser. The one that I'm most excited for is this red Macan, because the red Macan is the lightest of all the legendaries, coming in at under 2,000 kilograms. It still handles very well. It's got a little slower 0 to 60, but I'm very excited for the Macan. It actually looks like a very good car. It might end up being a surprise, because we all know that the Cayenne GTS is a higher RQ than the Macan Performance Pack, but the Macan Performance Pack, although it's a lower RQ, is the better SUV when we're talking about, the OG Porsche off-roaders, or all surface tire cars. So I feel like the Macan GTS might be in a similar situation with this, comparing to the Porsche Cayenne Turbo SE Hybrid. And last but not least are the two Rovers. These two cars, I was very confident that they were going to go down to ultra rare. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. These two cars are still very, very weak. I would say that the this car, Autobiography, I think is called, is in a slightly better situation because it's got a very low 0 to 60, to be fair. But honestly, I'm going to put it as frequent provider at best. The Range Rover Sport SVR Pernicious Ulcer. Why? Okay, I'm going to compare straight up with this Audi at RQ78, okay? 4.3, 79, 78. That's all I need to say. The Audi is the better car. I know that the Rover has better MRA and a higher top speed, but it really doesn't matter, because to really unlock the full potential of that Range Rover, you'll need to max it out. Not a lot of people are going to do that. A lot of people, however, are going to max out the SQ8, like myself. I've done that. So I would say that the Range Rover just can't be the better car than the Audi. But anyway, guys, that is going to be my assessment of the pack that you need to open to get you a chance to win the good cars in the qualifiers, namely the Mercedes C12. Is it a good pack? As you can see right here, it's a bit of a mixed bag, right? It's a 50-50 kind of situation. You might get a really good car, or you might get hot garbage, or sorry, meta outsider. One thing to take note is that, in my opinion, if you want to get a good ultra rare from this pack, there are about two. It's the Audi A4 and the Jaguar X-Type. Everything else is either meh or just bad. So, should you open it? No, I don't think so. If you have the gold and you want to open packs, I'd rather you keep it and open the packs that you need to open for the actual final itself, and not for the events that build up to it. But anyway, guys, I hope you found this video super helpful. Remember to hit that subscribe button, because I'm really close to 10K. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace!
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly, got it, jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly, got it, jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville
Atlantic.
Blonde hair, don't care, look like Leslie Brooks. Pin up girls everywhere with the drop dead look. Swing it side to side as we slow dance to the night, when I'll hold your perfect hand and take you